Welcome back to Hardball. On Friday's show, Scott McClellan told Chris Matthews the White House gave talking points to some Fox News hosts. Here's the exchange.
Do you see Fox television as a tool when you were in the White House, as a useful avenue for getting your message out?
Well, I make a distinction between the journalist and between the commentators. I mean, certainly there were commentators and others, pundits at Fox News that were helpful to the White House. And certainly we got talking points to those people.
Call Sean, call Bill, call whoever. Did you do that as a regular thing?
It wasn't necessarily something I was doing, but it was something that we at the White House, yes, were doing and getting them talking points and making sure they knew where we were coming from.
So you were giving them talking points.
But I would separate the journalists.
This is important. You were using these commentators as your spokespeople.
Well, certainly. I think that happens to both ways when people go on other networks as well that are favorable towards the Democrats and so forth.
Bill O'Reilly begs to differ. Here he is on the O'Reilly Factors reality check segment last night.
Well, I never once received a talking point from the White House, so McClellan is not telling the truth about me. Should I be angry? Nah. But I have to call a lie a lie.
Well, today, Scott McClellan was on Bill O'Reilly's radio show, The Radio Factor.
The truth is, I messed up. I was specifically not trying to single anyone out, including you.
Well, how does this stuff really work? I'm joined by MSNBC political analyst Pat Buchanan and Salon editor Joan Walsh. Patrick, I have to tell you, I agree with Bill O'Reilly here. I don't think he'd take talking points from anyone, but you're a former communications director at the White House. Now, I understand when you were there, you'd send out your stuff by Pony Express or something. But
well, look, we have a public affairs shop that moves out all our information, the president's speech, what the critical points are, and you move out your material. But look, I saw this down at the beach, and Scott McClellan left the impression that these guys at Fox News, Sean and Bill O'Reilly, were basically taking dictation like parrots from the White House. I don't believe that. I think that's false. I don't know what they ship out from this White House, but I don't believe they are. They obviously agree with the White House on a lot of conservative issues. Some they don't agree on them. But I think it was unfair. And if you heard that, I heard that 9 minutes on radio today, and O'Reilly was angry, and I think he was justified in being pretty angry at the impression that Scott McClellan left, which I think was false.
Joan, where are you on this?
Well, you know, Mike, this story for liberals was too good not to be true. It sort of conformed to all our stereotypes, so we enjoyed it for a while. But, you know, from the minute Scott was talking with Chris, he started backpedaling. You saw him say, well, I didn't do it, and it wasn't the news guys, it wasn't Brit Hume. I'm not sure who exactly. And so, you know, it's rare that I would ever come to Bill O'Reilly's defense, but I don't see any evidence at this point that they were, you know, officially disseminating points 1 through 9, and they were then being parroted on Fox News. On the other hand, you know, you have this network that bills itself as fair and balanced. It seems anything but, especially in its commentary segments. So, you know, it's understandable why people wanted to believe it, but, you know, Scott's looking a little bit worse for the wear today.
I think he is, and I think he basically apologized to Bill O'Reilly for leaving the impression that he left there. But look, everybody, speaking as in the White House, you got journalists coming into you all the day. I mean, I see them around here that used to come in to see me in the White House. You make the case for the president. I've had guys call me up, and they say, Pat, how do you defend this latest problem Reagan's got or Nixon's got? What's your argument?
Right.
And they pick up your arguments. But this is the way people work with journalists and all the rest of it. But the idea that these guys, here's your script for today, Barnacle, put this on the air tonight. You know what that is, Mike.
Yeah, I do know what that is, although I never got the script.
No,
you know, Joan, what you were saying about, you know, Fox News or Bill O'Reilly or whatever, isn't it a fact? I mean, people should be let in on something they already know, that guests come on these programs, on this cable network and other cable networks, and the producers of the program, the host of the program, know they're going to get this set of views from this person and another set of views from another person. That's how it works, and both sides are supplied with their own information, no matter how they gather it, whether someone gives it to them or whether they get it for themselves. But they come in from an individual reference point.
Right. I mean, I think you have people, you know, certainly the campaign we've just been through, Mike, you know, you've got clear clear in the primary, you had clear Clinton surrogates, you had clear Obama surrogates. Then you had journalists who were somewhere in between. And you and I both know we could sit here all day on our BlackBerries and we're getting talking points from various campaigns. And every once in a while, you might look up at the television set and see a journalist, not you or me, certainly, but, parroting something that just came in from one of those press secretaries. Are those talking points, or is that, hey, this is a good point and I'm going to be the first one to introduce it into the debate? I think that goes on all the time, and let the viewer beware that's happening.
Well, we can recognize that. Frankly, if you've been in this business, we see these folks, one of them comes in Republican, one Democrat, and Joan's right, and they come from the campaigns and they got 1, 2, 3, they use the same words and same 3 quick arguments. Those are talking points, and those are people basically putting out the propaganda line. But the journalists you see, I'm sure they get that stuff in the mail and they say, this looks it, well, that guy's got a good point there. But I think when you get them from both parties, you are getting propaganda. But I don't think they can accuse journalists of doing that. I know of, and I certainly don't think they can accuse Sean or O'Reilly of doing that. O'Reilly's an independent
there's no
guy.
Evidence right now.
He wouldn't be at 2.8 million or whatever the devil he's got.
He's not taking talking points from it. He's not taking them from Roger Ailes. He's not taking them from anyone.
Exactly. I think, the guy wouldn't have the ratings he does, have the audience he does, if he's spouting a party line.
Did you ever have any go-to guys when you were the communications director in the media?
In the Nixon White House, I had 2, and I won't tell you who they were.
Oh,
come on, Pat. All these years later.
I'll put it in the memoirs.
Joan, I'll get them from him and I'll tell you.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Joan Walsh, Pat Buchanan, thanks very much. Up next, the politics